Good day and welcome to another episode of Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. I am your host, Rondell, Donawa, attorney at law. Once again, I'm happy to bring the law and you. Of course, you can stream us on our social media as well as our traditional media, WESN, CC, as well as Strictly Legal with Rondell, Donawa. So this week we are about to speak about dental quacks. It's a bit of going non-traditional because, of course, my guest is not a lawyer. She is an oral surgeon, Dr. Kimberly Abraham, and we're going to speak about about the need to crack down on unregistered and unlicensed dentists, because we've seen a lot in Trinidad and Tobago because of our influx of I don't want to use the word loosely, but migrants, and also a lot of different types of persons who come to Trinidad, and even persons who are Trinidad nationals who are operating at home procedures, and whether that is safe, that is proper, and of course whether it is legal. And in studio I have Dr. Kimberly Abraham, as I said, oral surgeon, and she is her principal practice owner of Confident Dental Care, if I'm not mistaken.
Confident Care Family.
Right, Confident Care Family. Well, of course, she would officially introduce her practice. She is a dentist for the last 6 years, and she's also a member of the Trinidad and Tobago Dental Association. And you would have seen her on LinkedIn and a lot of social media pages where she uses great methods, and she's very popular in the social world. And once again, I'm so happy to have her in studio, Kimberly Abraham. Doctor, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
And how are you?
I'm fine.
Thank you for coming on to our set on Strictly Legal as a doctor in dentistry. And of course, the reason why I would have approached you to be on this program, because I came across a post from you as well with respect to persons who have been unregistered and are doing at-home treatments, and whether or not it's safe. And of course, seeing that this is something that is prevalent, there would have been considerations where the association as well as the council, dental council, would have lobbied the government to create laws or to create legislation to attack dental quacks. So let's start with you. Let's hear. Who is Kimberly Abraham?
Who is Dr. Abraham?
Yes.
Hi. So I've been practicing for 5 years. I'm the principal dentist. I own my own office. And I'm actually an executive on the Trinidad and Tobago Dental Association. So this is why this topic is close to heart, or close to my heart, because we are actually trying to debunk the misrepresentation of dental quacks or untrained or unregistered dentists in Trinidad and Tobago.
So let's deal with dental quacks. Why do they phrase the term dental quacks? I mean, I know it's something that is that has a definition.
So a dental quack is actually an untrained dental professional or an unregistered dentist in Trinidad and Tobago.
And so let's start from the beginning. Of course, in order to become registered, you have to go through the procedure in terms of schooling, etc. Tell us in terms of how does one become registered as a dentist?
So the Dental Council is the body that manages the dental board. The dental board in Trinidad and Tobago is actually all dentists and all dental auxiliaries. And the Dental Council is in charge of registering dentists. So to be registered, you have to have a dental degree from the Trinidad and Tobago Dental School or the dental hospital, or an equivalent degree. And the Dental Council will have that list that says, okay, you graduated from this school, you can register. And they are in charge of the examinations and all the qualifications as necessary to become registered in Trinidad and Tobago. So you can't just start to practice dentistry legally without going through the proper channels.
Now, of course, we have seen a lot of videos circulating, particularly one on TikTok, where a young lady would have engaged an at-home dental practitioner to to install braces.
Yes.
Of course, we know braces, while braces is something that is needed for persons who have difficulties in whatever way. We've seen also where it has become a style, right? So just walk us through in terms of whether or not that practice is safe, and of course, why is it that practice became so widespread, especially here?
So you're right. I have found that dentistry or braces, sorry, is a trend. Some people come to me and they find, okay, I like this look. And if a patient comes to me, I say, well, I can help you because it serves a purpose. Why do people go to untrained dental professionals? You would know, or most people know, that dentistry it's expensive, and some people just can't afford access to proper dental care or afford traditional braces. So that's the reason why it's encouraging to go to somebody that's cheaper. Sometimes you just can't afford it at the time. So that's why it's so popular now. But cheap in this case is not better. Cheap isn't safe. To become a dentist, or even to, let's say you want to have braces done, there are proper protocols that have to be done before. There are x-rays that have to be taken. You have to make sure that you have no cavities, no bone loss, because while it's cheaper in the short term, in the long term you could basically lose your teeth. You could have teeth mobility, the teeth starts to shake. You could actually get more cavities. Putting braces or Invisalign, depending on the form of orthodontic treatment you use to straighten your teeth, you're actually putting force on your teeth, and without going to somebody who's trained and to see the type of anchorage or the type of force that's necessary, in the long run you could actually lose your teeth, or end up having to do root canals, bridges, implants, or even dentures. It will actually cost you more in the long run. Because
I'm seeing, at least on one face, I think it was an Instagram page, I wouldn't call the name of the, I don't know if it's a company because I'm sure it's not registered, where at-home visits can cost as little as $1,000 to install braces. Yep. So do they follow the same regulations or the same practice in terms of doing the x-rays? I mean, because I have braces and I know the procedure in terms of before actually installing. You had to do like 2 visits. They had to do moldings, x-rays, photos, make sure that your teeth is aligned. Do they do all those things with those at-home installations?
So a registered dentist is mandated by the dental council to have proper things in place. The office has to have a certain level of sanitary conditions, sterilized instruments. So no, it's not safe. You could actually end up getting hepatitis or even HIV, and especially this time, in this COVID time, we're actually in a pandemic. They don't have the proper means to keep your instruments or even to sterilize your instruments, so no. So yes, it's in the TikTok video you referred to, you're literally lying down on your bed and having braces done, but is that hygienic? Is that safe? And it isn't. Of
course, because one of the things, one of the practice when you come into a dental office or even a doctor's office, they sanitize, you wash your hands, you have to be in a space where at least the orthodontist or the dental surgeon can see your teeth properly, and all these various things in terms of lighting conditions and these things. But is it that those individuals who install those braces or do those dental work, is it that they are untrained or they are unlicensed in Trinidad and Tobago?
So I have found that you have plenty, sometimes Venezuelan nationals who are dentists in their country, but to practice here you have to be registered under our laws. So in Trinidad, they aren't trained or they aren't registered here. So we don't consider them to be a trained or a safe dental professional to go to. So while they might have the knowledge, no. And then sometimes people go to the University of YouTube and they Google how to put on brackets, and so no, most times no, they're not trained.
But in terms of the dental association, what sort of lobbying has the association done to the powers that be to ensure that there are stricter legislation? Because from my research, I don't think there's any legislative framework dealing with that type of practice.
So I'm an executive on the Dental Association, and currently we have an anti-quack campaign, and that's mostly for education to the general public. How do you spot a registered dentist? What do you need to look out for? In terms of legislation, the Dental Council deals with that, but currently they are mandated by the Dental Act, and laws are, they are in the process of trying to have laws change. As you would know, that's your area. It's not something easy. It's currently before Parliament, and they are lobbying and talking to the Minister of Health and the powers that be to have that change. And until that's changed, there's technically nothing they could do. They don't govern quacks, basically. So let's say in the unfortunate instance where something goes wrong, there's really no form of regress that you could go to. You basically have to go to the police and make a report, and sometimes that just gets lost in space.
Because it's the same thing in terms of the legal industry.
Yes.
You have to be registered in terms of you have to be called to the bar, you have to be registered with the law association, and of course if there's any form of malpractice, there's certain procedures which you follow. The law association can either suspend your license, right, or they bar you, as well as if there's some sort of professional negligence, right, you can now proceed to litigation, or the person who's aggrieved can proceed to file an action in court against you.
And it's the same thing in the dental world, basically. So if you go to a quack, there's literally nothing that could be done except go to the police and hope that they are caught. Yes.
Because if you're saying that it's, I mean, I'm not targeting any groups, but if you're saying that mostly the migrant practitioners who are unlicensed are going to those at-home clinics, in terms of now locating them, in terms of now bringing them before the law.
Because you could let this set up shop anywhere, so sometimes they move. Oftentimes they just change location, change the name, and they're back to putting on braces or cosmetic stuff. Like I had a patient call my office and they asked, do you put on diamonds on your teeth? So I said, no, I don't. So
that's something from a long time. Where you
right, no, but I think she was like glitter diamonds.
Oh, okay.
And she asked, why can't you use your dental glue and just stick it on? Quacks do those things.
Right.
Right? So those things are being done, but a trained or registered dentist will not do that.
Interesting, because I remember even long ago, I mean, obviously we are, when we were young people going to school, we used to see these, I mean, I did that once, where you put this, I think it was a trend, those diamond studs on your,
it's still happening.
on your tooth. But I mean, you didn't have to go to a dentist to do that. You just buy it, you just purchase it and stick it onto your teeth. So now, like Quacks would use for it to last a little longer. Right. The glue that we use, Quacks would do those things. Right. And of course, that can be that can cause a lot of medical issues. Right,
dental issues as well, dental caries, which could lead to, in the long run, tooth loss, basically.
Right. So, Dr. Abraham, let's take a pin here. We have to take a break. You're watching Strictly Legal. We'll be right back. And we are back speaking on the topic of cracking down on dental quacks, and my guest, Dr. Kimberly Abraham, oral surgeon, is with me. Kimberly, so before the break, we were speaking about, in terms of the council, what are their powers, etc. Now, I note that one of the recommendations was that the quacks, so if there's a quack operating legally, the council can act immediately without having to go to the Director of Public Prosecution. At this point in time, the council doesn't really have any powers, right, to shut down an illegal practice or to make recommendations for arrest or for whatever action there is. But there is a Dental Act. Right, because obviously you are governed by some sort of legislation, particularly as a licensed dentist. Now, in terms of advice to persons who may be considering doing downgraded or botch, I wouldn't say botch, but obviously less of a valued dental treatment, what sort of advice you have to state, and also whether or not these treatments can be reasonably priced by licensed dentists? So
first of all, I would say, from my experience about dealing with patients, sometimes you literally can't afford the treatment. So in some instances, the cheaper option might be your only option. But you also need to consider that the long-term effects is not worth it, because you're going to basically, I would assume, try to enhance your smile. You don't want to lose your teeth after. You don't want to have to wear a dentier or to have to spend more money in the long run. So the advice I would give is to just find a compassionate dentist. There are lots of us out here who actually offer treatment plans. So I always tell patients, before you actually start treatment, try to build a relationship with a dentist, because once you're going to a dentist, it should be a long-term relationship. So find somebody that you're comfortable with and explain your situation. And sometimes we offer payment plans. We actually work with your budget. It might take a little longer, but in the long run, you actually get the desired outcome. So instead of rushing for cheap in the moment, take a step back, sit down. When you go to a dentist, most times we give you a treatment plan that covers all the work that you have to do, not just for now, but for long term. So let's start and focus on what you can afford. If you need a bridge or you need braces, or Invisalign, there are treatment plans. You need to find somebody who understands your situation. And oftentimes we work with you and we help.
Now let's deal with actually registered dentists who may be debarred but still operating. Because I'm certain there are dental practitioners in Trinidad, not looking at the migrants or the at home, but persons who are actually practicing and have their office space. How does the dental association or the council deal with persons, or how do they monitor whether or not a dentist who is operating in an establishment is registered or not?
So I would tell patients, before you actually seek dental treatment, make sure your dentist is registered. How do you do that? You go to the Dental Council website. Most dentists are supposed to have their practicing certificate and there's another certificate, the practicing certificate and the practicing license in the office. If it's not displayed, ask them, because they have it in their office somewhere. And in the beginning of each year, there's a list that's posted with dentists who are in good standing. So if you aren't registered and you're not on that list, it's illegal for you to practice. So the dental council could actually suspend you or revoke your license.
And of course, this is similar to legal practitioners. Yeah. Of course, there may be some legal practitioners, for instance, in order to continuously be in good standing, you have to pay your practicing fees. Yep. Right, in order to get a renewed practicing certificate for the period, which is a year. Yes. Of course, and in every association there are persons who are not paying their fees and are still practicing, right? But of course, it's important to know, right? And a lot of persons, I believe oral surgery now is no longer something that is needed, but it's a want. For certain things, for certain persons, like braces. It's a fashion statement. It
is not necessarily a fashion statement. If your teeth aren't well aligned, there are side effects. You have headaches, TMJ problems, issues with your joints. So while it's aesthetic, it looks good, it's really necessary for function, for speech as well. Some kids who have anterior open bites, or the front of their teeth don't touch, or it is malaligned. Let's say if you're studying languages, you literally can do Spanish, rolling your S's and stuff like that. So while yes, it's for aesthetic, but there's a functional part of it as well.
Of course, and one of the reliefs, of course, as you said earlier, you can report to the police. The police will treat it as an assault, right? And of course, they will investigate, and they will have a certain number of a certain time limit to report back or whether or not they're going to charge a practitioner. but the issue is whether or not it's actually followed through.
Yes.
And of course, whether persons actually make an effort to report.
Yes.
Now, is the association monitoring these illegal practitioners and reporting this to the police?
So all we can do at this time is educate the public with our anti-quack complaint. With respect to some of the illegality, only the patient itself who is disgruntled could go to the police station. Even if they go to the dental council, unless the act itself is changed, there's nothing much that we can do. So that's why we are focusing on educating and public awareness, so it does not end up being, okay, I have to go to the police station, my teeth are shaking, what should I do? Yeah. Because at that time, really and truly, it's too late.
And there's a key scenario, I mean, I'm just being hypothetical. Of course, if you are a registered dentist and something happens, then you can sue for malpractice.
Yes, you can.
Right? With respect to somebody who's unlicensed, it may be harder to convince the court in terms of malpractice. Yes, you can decide to bring an action, but obviously, you as a patient will have to be contributory negligent for the fact that you had not done your due diligence and you have gone to a practitioner who's unregistered. So therefore, even though the court awards some sort of damages for the malpractice, obviously they will reduce a percentage because you were the one as well, right? Decided to go before this person and to have a botched surgery. It's the same thing with plastic surgeons.
It is the same.
There are a lot of illegal, I mean, I'm not sure whether, yes, plastic surgeons are registered.
Yes.
But then there are a lot of unregistered plastic surgeons here.
So it's very similar. And this is not a Trinidad issue, you know. This is a worldwide issue. I believe in the beginning of August, I saw on BBC, they had a documentary on the NHS is not seeing as much patients as they would. So people are literally doing their own dental, or their own dentures at home. And even I see the Dental Association in Guyana posted something very similar about the illegal braces or the dental quacks. So it's a worldwide issue we're dealing with. It's not just in Trinidad this is going on, it's all over. So it's very similar with the surgeons all over the world.
Now, do you think there's a need for more public dental surgeons in Trinidad and Tobago? Because I'm not sure if the number is still the same. Because I remember when I was younger, I mean, my mom being in the medical field, I used to go to the public dentist in the health center to get my dental treatment. But I realize now, is it that there's less public dentists,
it's the same.
And therefore, because of the fact that there's less public dentists and the wait for an appointment, it means now that persons now have to resort to going through the back door?
It's the same. The thing is, the numbers are, the health center could only see so much at the time, and we're just coming out of the height of the pandemic.
I think that's since before though.
Yeah, but even more so. Like they were only doing like elective dental procedures, so the routine stuff. But really and truly, for the day in a health center, you could only see X amount of patients. So when I was at the dental hospital, they do a good job, but students and dentists could only see X amount of patients in a day, and sometimes people are lined up there before 6 to get in line to be seen. So it's just that there's more that has to be done. But there's only so many health centers in Trinidad and Tobago. The hospital, the dental school could only see so many people in one day. And so for the mass of patients that they have to be seeing, that's why quacks are becoming so popular now.
Well, I really hope that that there is some form of legislative framework to deal with this. And of course we will have legislation, but it's implementation as well.
Correct.
You know, because there's a lot of laws. Laws can only solve one aspect. But then if there's no implementation and follow through, right, then obviously it will just be at a stalemate.
Yes.
And what I've noticed too, you know, in terms of social media, everything is about aesthetics. Everything is about. I mean, even when I saw that video, because I wanted to post it there, but I know it was on someone's TikTok, and even looking through the pages of this particular practitioner, I don't even know if to call them a practitioner, but the unregistered, well, the quack, right, as the term is stated. You're seeing where they are showing progress, right, but the progress doesn't look too. I mean, yes, the teeth is straightened, but it's moved. Okay, that's the good terminology, moved.
But is it a positive move or a negative one?
Right.
Yeah, but only by the time you take off those brackets, or oftentimes before, your teeth are shaking.
Yeah.
You're losing bone resorption, your need for root canals. It's most times ends up very negatively for the patient.
And where's your practice located?
So my practice is in Shogunas.
Okay, and that is Confident
Care Family Dentistry.
Yeah. Confident Care Family Dentistry, Dr. Kimberly Abraham. I know dentists can't advertise. Same with attorney, so this is not an advertisement, right? But of course, it's important to invite practitioners like yourself to instill that knowledge, because a lot of persons just need some form of advice, right? If it's a consultation, and obviously, one question though is that when someone goes to a quack and then they realize that they have done a bad job, do registered dentists take their work?
Most times, no, I don't.
Right. You don't?
No.
Okay. Because then that's a liability on you.
Correct. So oftentimes I tell them, okay, just go back and have them take off the brackets. Say come in for a consultation, at least let them take off the brackets, and then we'd go from there. Most times it's reconstructive work we're trying to do. So no, most dentists, they don't do it.
That's what I realized, because even though persons register go by one dentist, and then if they go by another registered dentist may not want to do the work. Is it an ego thing as well?
For me, it's you ask permission. It's, remember, the end of the day, the dental industry is, these are your colleagues. So oftentimes, I just would not take over a case. You email the dentist, you reach out, hey, this is such and such. And then if you start work by a dentist, the records are yours, so you don't have to come back by another dentist and take over x-rays. They can be sent to you. So it's just proper protocol, in my opinion.
Proper protocol. And of course, knowing fully well that dental practitioners know one another.
Yes.
So it's about building and maintaining relationships.
Correct.
And of course, protecting yourself.
Yes.
Do dentists have indemnity or do insurance?
Yes.
Is that mandatory?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Any closing statements? Because I know we're out of time already.
So thank you for having me, and I hope that I was able to shed some light
Indeed.
on the dental quack issue that's going on in Trinidad and Tobago.
Indeed, and guys, please, of course, dental practitioners have payment plans. They have payment options. I think before it was just a matter of no, you have to pay in advance.
You don't have to pay all in advance. Talk to your dentist. Payment plans are an option.
Yes, and it's better to obviously. I always say, and it's a saying, cheap thing no good, good thing no cheap.
That's right. It isn't.
It isn't, because look at it, you end up having to spend more monies to fix the problem in the long run. So thank you so much, Dr. Abraham.
It was a pleasure.
I'm most grateful for having you here, and we at WESN are grateful for you. Right? Thank you so much. So you have been watching Strictly Legal on WESN, Content Capital. We are out of time. We were speaking on the cracking down of dental quacks. So do have a great day. Please stay safe, sanitize. Until next time. See you then. Bye.